Hello Robert, how you doing? This is Christian doing finally my entry to your contest. Sorry it's really late. I have not been here with my music to do an entry. So here it is. First of all, congratulations. I'm going to try to do this really quick so we won't waste much more time. You have a great idea for a contest. You ask us to show 5 bands that went through changes through their career and what era of the band you like most of them. Here I have 5 bands. Hope you know them, and if you don't, maybe you can check them out. First of all, I'm going to go with these guys. Dream Theater, big band in the progressive metal from the late 80s, late 80s, early 90s. This is the first album, of course, Images. No, sorry, their second album, Images and Words. Here they already had a change because they had a previous album when they and Dream United. Then they had a different singer, Charlie Dominici. They find out that it wasn't the type of singer that they needed. So for this album, they recruited Canadian-born James Labrie, a really good one. That he fits exactly what they were looking for in a band of this style of music. So this is Images and Words, and with this album they had their biggest hit, Pull Me Under. That's the first song. So after many other changes in the band, mostly in the with the keyboard players, they had here Kevin Moore, their original keyboard player. Then they have Derek Sherinian, and then they had Roland Rudess, sorry. But after a couple of years and touring and recording, there are some big issues with one of the founding members of the band. Of course, Mike Portnoy decided he needed a break from the band and with the band, but the other guys say no, they were good to carry on, and they didn't want to stop the band and take a break. So what happened? Mike Portnoy leaves the band, and they put out this one with a new drummer, Mike Mangini. He is a beast of a drummer, but I think, of course, that created a lot of troubles and issues with there is Mike Mangini. This is the new lineup. Of course, Jordan Rudess, Young, the bass player, John Petrucci, and James Labrie, and the new drummer, Mike Mangini. Some said that he's a kind of too flashy, too robotic in the way he drums. He's way too much, and he's not Mike Portnoy. Mike Portnoy was a huge part of the creative machine of Dream Theater. He was the creative partner with John Petrucci. He participated in the production and mixing of the band. So I think they lost something of that when Portnoy leaves the band. After this one, after the last album, the Dream Theater, they put out a concept album, The Astonishing. It was horrible, really bad one, and then they came back with another good one. I can't remember the name of that album right now. That is a really good one, but I think this lineup of the band is the best, and what's missing, of course, it's Mike Portnoy. So that's my first pick. Second pick is these guys, Teutonic Terrors from Hamburg. I think Cologne. on. I can't remember exactly from where are they from. Except, of course, here we have the band with the classic lineup with Udo Dirk Schneider on vocals, and here we have the return of the band with another singer, Mark Tornillo, in the early 2000s. Now they have 6 or 5 albums with Mark, and here with Udo they had, I think, 8. I'm not quite sure. They're both good. They're both. I really like the new era with Mark Tornillo. Unfortunately, right now the only original member is Wolf Hoffman. He's the owner of the band. He plays the guitar and he does everything. And here I think they were more of a band because we still have Udo, we still have Peter Baltas, the bass player, and Stefan Kaufman on drums and Jörg Fischer on guitar. Both good, but I think the original Accept is much better than this one. So here it is, Accept. Next, this is another band from the late 70s, early 80s that had a huge impact with this album, but that represented a big departure from the original sound that they were having on the first 3 or 4 releases. And of course, I'm talking about these guys, Whitesnake. This is their self-titled album from 1987, Whitesnake, or as we have it here, 1987. And this is one of the first albums they had. This is Trouble. More and more bluesy sound, like an extension of Deep Purple. Of course, here we have John Lord and Roger Glover, I think. Yep. Along with David Coverdale, and here we have David Coverdale doing what he think he needed to be a huge and successful band in the 80s, and it was be more of a glam rock band and living beside the bluesy sound of the earliest album that you can hear them until sliding in from 82 from 87, and that's when they changed their sound completely from this more bluesy sound of band to this band that it was all over MTV doing videos and big productions, and you can hear it even more on the next album, Sliding In. Slip of the Tongue. It was even more like a more of the band that it was coming from the area of Los Angeles than that you can think that it was an offspring and a spin-off of Deep Purple. So there it is, Whitesnake. Next is another British band that kind of took part of the new wave of British heavy metal. However, they say they did not belong with that type of music, with the movement. They were never a heavy metal band, that they were always a glam rock band. And of course, I'm talking about these guys, Def Leppard. Their debut album, On Through the Night, and their most successful and commercial album, Hysteria. This album has sold, I don't know how many millions of copies all over the world. A huge departure from the original sound. Here we have the original line of Joe Elliott, Rick Savage, Pete Willis on guitar, Steve Clark and Rick Savage. And here we don't have Pete Willis, we have Phil Collins on guitars. A huge difference in sound. Their producer, Mutt Lange, had a big impact on this, on the way they sound on this album. They kind of forget about how hard they rock on this one, with heavy guitars. Here we have the guitars overproduced with layers and layers of sounds of music all over the place, and some horrible songs like Pour Some Sugar on Me. I think that's one of the worst songs they have ever made. But what know this album has sold an absurd amount of copies all over the world, and but I think this is a better band. This one and the next one, High and Dry, are the best sounding, the best version of Def Leppard. Not this one. And finally, another band that made some big changes in their sound in the early 90s, a big departure from what they put on their debut album in the early 80s, and that created a lot of animosity with some of the more radical fans of the band. And yes, it's Metallica. Here we have their debut, Kill 'Em All, the dudes. Of course, a very young Hetfield, Ulrich, Hammett, and the late Cliff Burton. Sorry, and here we have the blockbuster, the biggest selling album, of course, the self-titled Black Album. And of course, here we don't have Cliff Burton, we have Jason Newsted in the this is his second full-length recording. A big departure from this one. The production of pop rock, you can hear it all over the place. Shorter songs, more commercial songs. Here we have for the first time a ballad with that until now they play all over the radio, and it's I don't know. I don't know if you want to hear a ballad from Metallica. You're not one of the original guys that came out along with this album, because here we don't have a ballad. On Ride the Lightning we don't have a ballad, kind of but not a ballad like this one. Said, not sad, but true. Nothing else matters. Some will say that it's a good album, it's a great album. Many fans discovered Metallica with this album and they think it's their best. But for us, that we discovered the band with this one and with the second one, Ride the Lightning, or maybe with the third one, Master of Puppet, for us this era is without any discussion the best of the band. So there it is. Robert, those are my 5 choices, 5 bands that I think they went through very notable changes through the years, with changes in some unique members, key members of the bands, and some other bands that had big changes on their sound, like Def Leppard, like Metallica, and like Whitesnake. So I hope you like it. And once again, congratulations for having this contest. You have a great channel. I really enjoyed all your videos. I won't be rambling anymore. This is Christian saying goodbye down here in Santiago, Chile. Till next time, see you.